Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and abandoned Ed Sheeran fans. And welcome to The Struggle, a news talk show powered by the irony in Virgin Australia's decision to review all its routes. I'm your host, Tavleen. Welcome. Tonight, we discuss trending acronyms, everything from the VMAs and NAPLAN to the G7. Hanson has been making headlines this week. This song is timeless. Pauline Hanson has been in the news this week. In spite of the Anangu, people have pleaded with tourists for years not to do so. The controversial senator announced her plan to climb Uluru. You might remember she compared a ban on climbing Uluru to not being allowed to swim on Bondi Beach. Hanson said she received permission from the traditional owners, but not everyone was as welcoming.
With you, I'm Indigenous. I was born here. I'm native to the land.
She's Indigenous?
Yes, I am. Do you know the word Indigenous?
Yeah, I do.
Native to the land. I was born here. Where's my land if it's not Australia?
England?
Followed by a current affair, Hanson did attempt the climb, but safety concerns prevented her from getting to the top.
Seriously, I cannot walk down here. My boots are that bloody hole that they're so smooth, I'm not getting any grip. And I'll tell you what, I'm not getting any grip on my backside either.
For more on this, our Far-Right Correspondent, Pauline Hanson, travelled all the way to the Northern Territory for this exclusive from The Struggle.
Look, we just don't have the budget, I'm sorry.
There's no budget. We'll make it work.
If you're not actually there, I just don't think it's going to work.
I will make it work. Here I am at the Ayers Rock Visitor Centre, and in support of Pauline, I'm going to climb it. But before I do that, I need to ask permission from the traditional owners of the land.
Hi, how can I help you today?
I want to climb Ayers Rock.
Ayers Rock. We sell ice cream here.
Do you not know who I am?
No.
I think it went really well.
I'm just concerned that the fans might finally realise you're illiterate.
I can read. It's just the logos look really similar. Okay?
How are we even going to film the rest of this?
We could probably find some place that looks the same and they can just fix it in post-production.
I don't think post-production can do that.
Yes, they can. Oh, wow. Wow, Uluru's it's so big. It's much more larger than I thought.
Pauline, it must have been amazing to see the iconic landmark up close like that. Moving on then, and while last week's Video Music Awards brought together a whole heap of our faves, I have a lot of questions. Mainly, who are these people on the red carpet? Isn't this supposed to be for celebrities, like famous people? Who are you? And who is this girl? And why is she wearing a snake? Not to mention the slightly awkward opening monologue delivered by yet another person I don't know. Sebastian Maniscalco? Who are you? The apparent comedian has since come under fire for his insensitive joke about safe spaces. And really, can he be surprised?
They're providing a safe space backstage. Will you get some stress balls and a blankie?
Poor taste in comedy aside, I think it's time I hand over to someone a little more knowledgeable about the pop culture universe. Here's a fangirl correspondent, Sophia.
Thanks, Tavleen. There is nothing I love more than an award show, and baby, the VMAs slayed. Drama, bling, fashion faux pas, and music. Firstly, may I just take a moment to bow down to the absolute queen of the music industry right now, Lizzo. Seriously, she is something else. We truly do not deserve her. Lizzo took everyone to church when she performed Truth Hurts and Good as Hell. Seriously, it was a religious experience. I mean, who else in this earth could dance and sing in front of a giant inflatable ass wearing a bright yellow bodysuit and actually pull it off? I also gotta take a moment to talk about the reunion of none other than Missy Elliott and Alison Stoner. What a throwback! Alison had first performed in Missy's music video for Work It back in 2002, and the two queens made a monumental comeback in this year's VMAs. Speaking of throwbacks, this year's VMAs marks 10 years since Kanye iconically, need I say rudely, interrupted Taylor Swift at MTV Video Music Awards.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
And this year, she got sweet, sweet vindication, winning Video of the Year for her latest anthem, You Need to Calm Down. Speaking of Taylor Swift, how could I not mention John Travolta's awkward slip-up, mistaking drag queen J. Jolie for T-Swizzle herself. Poor John isn't new to the rodeo of award show mishaps. I mean, we all remember that old Adele Dazeem moment from the 2014 Oscars.
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Ariana Grande took out Artist of the Year, and baby, the Jonas Brothers are back with a win in the Best Pop category for a sucker. But enough about the winners. Let's talk a bit about the fashion. I think Bella Hadid might have forgotten that it's not 2003 anymore, and wearing low-rise anything is actually a crime. Although, I guess if you've got abs like that, you might as well flaunt them. Keke Palmer absolutely dazzled in her canary yellow figure-hugging gown by Youssef Al-Jazmi. And Lizzo, oh, how could I leave this lady out? She hands down takes out the Best Feather Boa category. I mean, look at this woman slay in her sequin Moschino masterpiece. I could literally go on forever about the red carpet, but apparently I'm out of time. Back to you, Tavleen.
Right you are, Sophia. Well then, Kit Kat style, it's time to have a break. Welcome back. The G7 Summit. Truly one of the 7 wonders of the world. 7 people, that is, wondering what in the world they have in common with one another. Except for maybe some frighteningly disturbing death stares. Heavyweights in world leadership, including Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, and Angela Merkel, were all involved in discussions about a variety of topics, ranging from trade agreements to climate change. And while there wasn't a whole lot of progress, at least everyone got together for a good old catch-up. Everyone, that is, except for old mate ScoMo. Scott Morrison was at the G7 as a special partner nation, which is just a fancy way of saying he's a great crasher. While he got the opportunity to mix and mingle with fellow leaders, he also made sure he had plenty of time to himself as well. So much for rubbing shoulders with world leaders. But being a gatecrasher, special partner nation, has its perks. A trip to France, an opportunity to have some Ashes banter, and the chance to be an extra in the filming of the latest industry superfund ad. I mean, compare the pair. Same age? Same income? Not quite. But hey, at least he's getting the hang of the hand logo. And while our PM seemed to hit it off with Boris Johnson, he also left an impression on Donald Trump after the president described ScoMo as fantastic. Seeing as though the two are so amicable, you would expect that if ScoMo ever felt like Scott no mates, he would be able to phone a friend, right? Snubbed. But elsewhere at the G7, things got a little heated. And no, I'm not talking about the Brazilian president's sexiest dig at Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte. I'm talking about Brazil, because it's literally on fire. Forest fires in the Amazon are not uncommon during the hot and dry season when many farmers burn forests to clear land. But so far this year, there have been double the amount of fires than in all of 2018. The fires in the Amazon forest were top of French President Macron's agenda last week. Understandably so, as there are only about 80% more forest fires than there were this time last year. By the end of the summit, the G7 member states had pledged around $22 million to help Brazil fight the fires, while Hollywood's poster boy for climate action offered $5 million. But instead of graciously accepting the assistance, Brazil's leaders rebuffed the offer, calling it an attack on their sovereignty, and suggested that these resources would be more relevant to reforest Europe. Don't worry, the irony is not lost on me. Even the chief of staff to Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro couldn't help himself and took a further stab, saying,
Macron cannot even avoid a predictable fire in a church that is part of the world's heritage, and he wants to give us lessons for our country.
Instead, President Bolsonaro seems intent on spearheading efforts to keep the Amazon ablaze. First, he blamed the NGOs and environmental groups for starting the fires, suggesting they were enacting revenge when he cut their funding. And when that didn't work, Bolsonaro said that his government didn't have the resources to fight the fire. But since Macron and Leo have offered assistance, Captain Chainsaw, sorry, Nero, yes, the same tyrant who razed Rome to the ground and blamed it on the Christians, Bolsonaro prefers to be called Nero now, has changed tack. He won't accept the assistance unless Macron takes back his insults and says sorry for calling him a liar. Grow up, Jair. Here at The Struggle, we are no longer sure how to reason with President Bolsonaro and help him understand the importance of preserving the Amazon. So, we have enlisted the help of Harmony, our crystal correspondent, to try and get through to him.
Thank you, Tavleen. You know, the Amazon forest isn't the only thing that's burning right now. Our hearts are on fire too. Hearing it, crying for it, hurting for it. President Bolsonaro, I know we may be hundreds of miles apart, but here on this earth, we're all connected. And I'm sensing a real animosity and negative energy coming from you. I just feel your anguish, or perhaps the lack of, seeing as you think deforestation and mining is much more important, and hiring your head scientist and denying the data, but it's not the point. The point is that you don't understand the hurt that the Amazon rainforest is feeling right now. The fire is not just trees burning. It's the environment calling out to mankind and saying, help me, love me, pray for me. And I think, I implore you to look within and find that deep down, you are connected to the Amazon forest, and beyond that, you are one with the Amazon forest. Thank you. #pray for the Amazon.
What's the harm in trying to save the world with a bit of spiritual energy? Thanks, Harmony. Well, with that inner boost, let's take another short break. Greetings again. Unpaid internships. They're something us students have very sadly accepted our way of life. We each put in long, arduous hours across multiple companies every year, desperately trying to memorize the names of fellow staff and complete laborious tasks. You know, the stuff none of the staff want to do themselves? And for what? The satisfaction of impressing our superiors who won't even remember our names 2 seconds after we have walked out the front door? It's not like any of us need the money. But at last, the Australian government has come up with a solution. Through the voluntary government program PATH, unemployed Australians aged 17 to 24 can take up the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of undertaking paid internships at car wash businesses. That's right, all of your dreams have come true. Under the PATH program, interns work with companies from anywhere between 4 to 12 weeks with the possibility of being hired at the conclusion of their internship. To make this news even better, companies receive a $1,000 incentive payment per intern they take on, with the potential of a further $10,000 subsidy for each intern they employ. This is great news. Interns will finally get good pay. Under the program, interns can be paid as little as $4 per hour on top of welfare payments. $4? $4? Are you serious? Yeah, you're really not joking. But for some good news, 81% of car wash interns that completed the full trial period have been employed. So that's exactly why we have decided to send our I'm a Millennial, Get Me Out of Here correspondent to the local car wash.
Welcome back to I'm a Millennial, Get Me Out of Here. Now today, I'm about to go and interview for an internship as part of the PATH program. Now I hear it's a great government initiative for young unemployed people to just try and get an internship. So come with me, I'll try and get this gig. Hi, Sue. No, thank you for taking time to meet me today.
It's lovely to meet you. You're Emma Beth, right?
Emily.
Sorry.
No,
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma Beth, for coming in today. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about your history to see if you'd match with our company.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your history with detergents?
I have a great history with detergents. I've been using them for a young age. I use them every day, actually, when I'm washing my dishes, washing my housemates' dishes. I'm fairly, hands-on when it comes to detergent.
Perfect. Okay, so this question might be a little bit tough. I'll give you a moment to think about it. So what is your favourite brand of detergent and what detergent do you use?
I normally do use Coles Home brand.
Okay, yeah.
But only sometimes. Okay. Most of the time it's palm olive.
Yeah.
Maybe, some others. I couldn't think of any names at the moment, but I am flexible when it comes to detergent use.
It's okay, we can move past that Coles Home brand statement. So what about your experience washing cars?
Oh, I have great experience washing cars. I wash my parents' cars every 2 weeks, every weekend sometimes. I'm pretty accustomed to washing cars.
So was this a paid job?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, perfect. I mean, we pay our employees, just some of them. Okay, so are you on any welfare payments at the moment?
Yes.
Okay, that's really good to hear. So we'll be in contact. Thank you so much for coming into this interview.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do I get anything from this interview? I mean, this internship at all?
Well, Emma Beth, this will actually be a life-changing experience for you. Now, as part of your internship here, you will be offered $1,000. Actually, wait, let me just check that. Oh, sorry, that's actually, we are getting $1,000 as the company because we've made an agreement with the Australian government. You will be offered a very competitive rate of $4 an hour. Now, that's amazing. And you know what? That doesn't even legally count as slave labour.
So do I get hired after the 12 weeks at all?
Hired? We can sort out those details later.
Great. I'm Emily Walker. This has been I'm a Millennial, Get Me Out of Here.
Poor you, Emily. Speaking of people underprepared for the workforce, and students around the country are in the process of receiving their NAPLAN results. While the test data shows that primary school kids are getting better at literacy and numeracy, the same can't be said for Year 9 students, where there has been no overall improvement. And while Education Minister Dan Tehan acknowledged Year 9s were the most difficult group of students to engage in education, he suggested giving students a NAPLAN certificate upon successful completion of the tests. Because another participation award is really going to make kids hit the books. But look, it's always going to be tough trying to get students' attention, especially when there are so many distractions around, be it YouTube, Netflix, or sailing across the Atlantic Ocean like 16-year-old Greta Thunberg to attend a global warming conference. Whatever floats your boat, I suppose. And the efforts of the Swedish climate activists have not gone unnoticed among students in Australia, with Melbourne Girls College taking the step of removing bins from the school. With students having to take any waste they bring to school back home, the move is hoped to both minimize rubbish and encourage the use of reusable containers. And while chip packets and cling wrap might be easy enough to scrunch away in a pocket, it might get a little awkward trying to transport a broken keep cup from the classroom to the curbside bin. On that shattering point though, it's time to put this show in park for another week. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share and discuss your bloody old boots in the comments below. But until the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory musical hits Melbourne next week, the struggle, it's real.